Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Happy Monday to you all, and thank you for showing up here. Like I said, I will be here Monday through Friday, but I'm not exactly sure of the time, so I never give a specific time. But please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and invite others to do that because we're going to be talking about a lot of things that tie in with healing and that affect our mental health. I have different ways of doing it, and then I tie it in with what I went through and how I overcame, and perhaps some of the experiences that I went through and that I talk about how I overcame. Perhaps it can help you if you have similar experiences and situations that you're dealing with. So, guys, with that being said, remember, I'm not a therapist, social worker, or counselor, just someone who talks from a space of my own personal um, experiences and challenges that I've gone through and how I overcame. So, let's get into it today, guys. Healing, and the title is Healing and Exercising Your Deal Breaker Rights. Healing and Exercising Your Deal Breaker Rights. Sometimes I have notes when I come on so that I can cover specific points, and sometimes I don't, but today I do. Listeners, you have the right to say no to anything that will negatively impact your mental health and anything that is not for your highest good. You have a right to say no to it. You know, I had to learn that, and it took me a long time to learn this lesson of saying no. For example, let me give you guys an example. If someone keeps asking you for extended favors, where they keep borrowing and never paying you back, you have the right to say the next time around no. And just because you share DNA, you grew up together way back when, or this is, whomever, you have a right to say no, especially if you see a specific pattern of behavior where you feel like and see that you're being used. You don't have to say yes to that. You know, there was a time when I was 26 years old, and an ex of mine who felt obligated to family burdens hated this stuff and would be screaming after giving something to a family member because they didn't want to do it. So why are you doing it? Screaming, yelling, well, because this is, the time and day we live in today, we have to take care of our mental and physical health. And this ex had a huge problem because all the yelling and screaming about giving to a family or whatever, and they didn't really want to do it, but did it anyway. And I know what that feels like because I've been there the first half of my life for, what seemed like forever. But guys, listeners, you have a right to say no. Another example is this. Let's say you guys went out on a date with someone, right? And you discover that this individual has a bad toxic habit that will definitely affect your healing and your mental health. Like I said in prior videos, red flags. When you see a huge red flag, a situation, then you don't have to be obligated to a second or third date. You can say no. I remember going out and somebody, we went to this restaurant. And when this individual came back from the bathroom, they were drunk. And I started asking questions about this. Oh, yeah, I have a drink in the morning before I leave the house and blah, blah. Is that every day? Really? Okay, I know this is something I don't want. So when you see patterns of behavior that is not going to fit what you want, you have a right to say no. You don't have to settle for something that is not for your highest good just to say you have a relationship. You have a right to say no to things that's going to affect you later on down the road. Well, that's another example that I'm using. You have a right to say no. We have the right to exercise our deal breaker rights to say no. Most of us have deal breakers. Many of us do. And we have a right to exercise them, especially in toxic behaviors and situations that we're going to regret later on down the line. So, don't. I used to feel guilty about this. And there's no reason to feel guilty about something that's going to affect you later on down the line, that's going to impact you negatively. We never have to stay connected to anything or anyone that makes us feel small or insignificant. We don't have to. We don't have to carry somebody else's burdens for them. Let them carry their own burdens. We have the right to protect our mental health and peace from toxic people and toxic situations. It is important to set those boundaries to protect our peace of mind so that we don't carry other people's tons of bricks, which I call tons of bricks or burdens. Let them carry their own burdens. Because, the first half of my life, I was being used as a doormat. I had to learn the lesson of telling other folks no instead of allowing myself to be used up like a doormat. Oh, go to Lisa. She know how to solve that. Go to Lisa. She'll give you what you need. You need to borrow something, blah, blah. And I was in that energy, guys, for a long time because it's family, because it's somebody I grew up with, because it's somebody I'm dating, whatever. No, no, no is what I do now. Basically, what I do now is set those strong boundaries. And when people disregard them, disrespect them, I cut off, block, and delete. And I learned the power of silence. When you learn how to be silent and let people act a fool and pull back, you're pulling back your power. You're taking your power back to those who you handed it to. Because when people think that you're easy and they can do whatever, however, they will keep doing it. And they will step over your boundaries, hop, skip over them, and think they have a right to do it. They feel entitled to what you have that doesn't belong to them. And you have a right to say no. That is a deal breaker. At least for me it is. Let them get angry. Let them say whatever, however. This is not your problem to carry other people's burdens. Otherwise, they will keep doing it and doing it and doing it forever if you allow it. And this is a lesson I had to learn. And I had to, when I first started therapy, to learn to do a pro and con list. What am I giving to the connection? Whatever connection, whether it's family, relationship, best friend, whatever. And I saw I was overgiving in all those situations. And I had to pull back from it. And it took a long time to do this because I was feeling guilty about it at first. But I have a right to say no for something that's going to affect me negatively. And when people were borrowed, they wouldn't pay me back, wouldn't see them anymore for a while. And then they have the audacity, when they think you've forgotten about it, to come back and try to borrow some more. The answer is no. And what I tell people, which they don't like, I can pray for you, but I'm not doing that anymore. When someone wants to give me a hard time about my boundaries and decisions, I go into prayer, and if necessary, like I said, cut off, block, and delete. And in the beginning, when I was in that, trying to do that as my therapist, he would just say, set those boundaries. But when they were crossed over and disrespected, I just cut off, because I'm not going to argue with someone about boundaries that I set, which is significant to my growth and healing. And when you argue with someone, you're engaging in the toxicity and the noise. And I refuse to do that anymore, because that will affect your growth and your peace. I ask God to give me the strength in prayer to keep healing and moving forward. Let these people feel whatever kind of way that they want to feel. The first half of my life, I was so subservient to everyone. it's not happening anymore. And people, some of them cut me off, but that's a good thing, because they save me the headache of cutting them off. Let others carry their own burdens so that you can stay focused on your healing, guys. It's so important. So, and also to maintain your peace. Because I started to pick up on the negative behavior of these folks. And when I needed something, and mostly like encouragement, or just, just to talk to someone, nobody was there. But when they needed something, 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock, whatever it is, they were right there. Maintain your peace, guys. Set those boundaries. And tell people, they need to respect them. Ask God to help you with this, because this wasn't easy for me. It took me a long time to get to this point, and to say no, and to say how I'm truly feeling about this. It is better to be at a place of peace, guys, than broken down into pieces. Because if you allow this behavior, it will continue. It will never stop. They will keep going on and on and on forever. However, but people only do what we allow them to do. And when you pull back your power, you're telling them that no. You're saying no. Otherwise they will have you like a puppet on a string, having you going every which way but loose, So it's important to take time out for you on a daily basis. Let them call you selfish. Let them say whatever, because they're angry because they can't use you the way they want. They no longer have the access to do whatever to you, because you said no. And as I said, guys, take care of you on a daily basis. Self-care, doing things to build up your spirit. And if those folks decide to leave your life, go into prayer with God and ask him, as that door closed, to open up new doors with people who really support you and want to see you win and want to help you on your path to healing. And those who will respect your boundaries and respect you as an individual. Like I said, it is better to be at a place of peace than broken down into pieces. So tell me, listeners, what is your deal breaker? That's the message today. Let me know in the comments. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel, because we're going to talk about it every day, Monday through Friday. Subscribe so that you know when I'm here. And invite others here who need to hear these messages. Before I go, take a look at the links, guys. There's some essential oils that I use. It helps me, with anxiety, tea, chamomile tea at night, a humidifier, and I put lavender in it, and it steams up the room, helps me to sleep better. Maybe for those who may have this problem, maybe look at the link and see if that's for you. There's other things there. Things, I like to buy things that help me, like there's things there for luggage and other stuff there. Things that just help you. All these things are part of helping your growth as well, because you're taking care of yourself, buying little things for yourself instead of giving everything to everybody else. So I hope these things help you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, make sure your comments are respectable. And guys, I'll be back tomorrow to see you. I'm not sure of the time, so that's why please subscribe to the channel. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. You guys go enjoy this nice weather and do something good for yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.